I'd like to take you back in time to March 19th, 2006. It's a day that changed my life forever. My family and I were in Poole, Kentucky during a dirt bike race. Family, friends, and I did that for fun. Something we did when we were younger, when I was 17 years old. The last thing I remember from that day was being in a trailer with my brother preparing for a race. After that time, I woke up about 2 weeks later and didn't know what had happened. I suffered a spinal cord injury, and my life changed forever in that moment, in that instant. My independence was taken from me that day. It was tough. I went from being a 17-year-old boy to that only thought about really three things in life. Most important things, of course. My job, which was very important. I worked my job so that I could make money to put parts on my truck, because trucks are important. They're very important. And I drove my truck around with all the pretty girls. Third most important thing. Job, truck, girls. 17 years old. Now, I will say that not much has changed since then. I will admit it. Now, looking back on that time, and that day, things have transformed and changed incredibly. Luckily for me, with the support of my friends, my family, my nurses, and my therapists, I was able to graduate from high school on time with my classmates. I then moved on to this beautiful campus at the University of Southern Indiana and graduated just a few years ago. I'd like to call it the 5.5-year plan. I'm sorry, parents, I know you think a little bit differently. I promise you the 4-year plan is totally underrated and overrated all at the same time. What's interesting is that going from a 17-year-old that knew nothing about disability to being thrust into a very unique position where, again, I had to count on someone to help with feeding, someone to help with itching my nose, someone to help with wiping my eye. An incredible transformation. I had the opportunity in 2012 to serve as a national ambassador for Easter Seals. Now, if you don't know much about Easter Seals, it's one of the largest not-for-profit organizations in the United States that serves people with disabilities. I had the opportunity to travel all across the United States and learn about people with disabilities, the challenges that they face, and learn a lot about myself. Really opened up my world to disability and people in general. That had a great impact on me. So when I graduated from USI, 5.5, okay, maybe it was 6 years, all right? Don't hold it against me. When I graduated from USI, I'm ready to jump into the employment world. When I met with a few local executives around our community, one of the things that I repeated in our ongoing talks, in our exploratory interviews, was my passion about disability. Well, lucky for me, somehow, some way, that led to a position with a local company called Old National Bank. And I've been with Old National for 3 years now. My position is to help our company do a better job of including people with disabilities in our workforce. Now, when I got the offer, after graduating from USI with a degree in PR and advertising, thinking that I wanted to go into sports management, I thought, a bank? Me? I don't even trust myself with a credit card. This is bad news. My parents sure as heck don't trust me with a credit card. Mom, please don't, okay? Having the opportunity at Old National to lead an employment function where we're working with people with disabilities has been incredible. One thing I didn't know, I'd like to share with you today, 60 million Americans are affected by disability. 200,000 Hoosiers, our home state, are affected by disability. 1 in 5 people in the world, 1 billion people, are affected by disability. Disability is not you. Disability is not me. Disability is us. So taking that into consideration with my new job with Old National Bank, how do we do a better job of including people in the workforce? Because realizing that there's this incredible population of people out there that just so happens to be one of the most underemployed populations in the world. People with disabilities make up the largest minority that are underemployed in the world. So as an organization, what do? How do we accomplish this? How do we bring people, these problem solvers, these people that are you, these people that are me, these people that are our family members, how do we bring them aboard our company, our lives, and our community? And why haven't they been a part? Let me provide a couple examples for you. So, Evelyn has an anxiety disorder. She is a very, very talented individual. She has tremendous skills. So Evelyn came to Old National for a job interview about a year before we began our initiatives, our inclusion initiatives. Now with her anxiety, sometimes she had trouble answering a direct question right away because she was self-conscious about some of the things that she would say, right? Some of us have trouble with that, thinking twice about what we say. And in an interview, she thought 3 times about what she was going to say. So sometimes you think about a recruiter that spends 6 seconds looking at your resume, 2 minutes interviewing a person. Now, if you don't right away answer that question, you're out of the pile, right? Unfortunately, we missed out on Evelyn. Now, we circled back with Evelyn a year later after we began our initiatives. Evelyn sat down. She had a folder with all of her test scores that said she was an incredible candidate for this position, which was an input position. It told us that she was really great at the job that she wanted to do, yet sometimes she didn't have the answers right away with our normal questions. So we took this great risk when we hired her. Evelyn has now been with Old National for 3 years. She is one of our highest performing input operators, and she's one of the most outgoing people in our operations department. We had in our minds, we thought just because Evelyn couldn't answer those questions right away, that normal interview process, we excluded her. We learned a lesson. Let me tell you about Chris and Madeline. Chris is our CFO, and Madeline is, or was, a student at the University of Southern Indiana. Madeline happens to be a double major in finance and accounting. She's also blind. Now, I introduced Chris and Madeline for a mentorship, to be friends and to learn from each other and to grow. And Chris came to me and he was very stunned. He thought, how in the world is Madeline going to be an accountant? How can she solve these mathematical problems if she can't see? Well, Chris quickly realized that Madeline had been dealing with her disability, her impairment, since she was 13 years old. Chris took a step back and said, Madeline is completing a degree at the University of Evansville. Chris then realized, after speaking with Madeline, that there were all kinds of assistive technology solutions that helped her read, helped her be successful, even more than anyone could ever expect. Madeline, Chris found out, had just returned from traveling to 15 different countries in Europe, 5 of them by herself. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I had trouble finding USI traveling from the east side to the west side. So Chris finding out that Madeline was able to navigate different countries by herself, independently, helped him realize that we as people make assumptions about the barriers that people with disabilities or all of us face, but the assumptions that we as people make. Now those 2 examples, I hope, will make you think about some of the assumptions that we make. Because as an organization, they've done an incredible job of transforming the way that we think. Now, what's even more interesting is that we've found this great talent of people that have been excluded from the workforce. These great individuals, a significant population. And while doing so, I'm receiving messages, emails, voicemails from all throughout Old Nationals, 5-state footprint, people that want to help, people that want to be a part of our initiatives because someone in their life has faced a disability. Someone in their life has been affected, and they understand the importance of our hiring initiatives. So not only have we found a skilled and talented labor force, but the culture of our company has been transformed. The passion has transformed. Let me leave you with one last example. Now you think about me. Just think about me for a moment. Don't be creepy. Now why are you laughing about that? So when Ben with a disability thinks about going to a friend's house, thinks about going to a restaurant, I have to consider, is there going to be enough space for my ramp to fold down? Are the doors wide enough for me to get in? Are the countertops or the tables tall enough? Is there an elevator to where I need to go? Now, if you think about that, those questions that individuals with disabilities have to think about before they even go out, I'm pretty sure what we call people like that are problem solvers. So there's a significant amount of people out there that because of some of the assumptions that we make as people have not been included in the workforce. Yet with thinking a little differently, stepping back and adding some passion, some love, and some compassion, we're able to transform our workforce, our minds, and our culture. So I encourage you to leave here today to think a little bit differently about the assumptions that we make as people about other people. And in the spirit of the tagline of our talk here today, grow, I encourage you, entrepreneurs, business owners, to grow. Grow your workforce, grow your compassion, and grow your culture. I promise you, you won't regret it. Thank you.